This is London, right? This is a story in the Daily Mail today, and they have done other cities, and it's not much cheaper because you're not a Londoner, are you? Manchester, Bristol, Birmingham, Newcastle, and Cardiff all average around £355 for a festive day out with the family.
Lord.
Well, I'm glad you said about how Christmas has become commercialised. I think people aren't very happy with that. A lot of our festive holidays that we all cherish and we all love, I love my Christmas, I know you do.
I love Christmas.
Is being used as a profit-making machine. I mean, let's look at a specific example in your piece. I mean, Hamley Santa Grotto, most Hamley's workers earn just £11 to £13 an hour, while the shareholders at the parent company, Hamley's franchising, rake in £7 million in profit.
Wow.
So what's going on here is essentially, and I think this is a wider issue, not just specifically with Christmas, is for the last 40 years, there's been a massive transfer of wealth from the working class and the middle class to the top 1%. And the reason why inequality is such a problem is because things such as this, people can't treat their families to a nice Christmas event, but also, more importantly, as we spoke about before, rents are going up, mortgages are increasing, people are struggling, whilst those big companies who siphon all that wealth into the Cayman Islands and not pay any taxes on it are laughing. I mean, since COVID, right, since COVID, the richest, and I don't mean like people who are successful, I'm talking about the billionaire class, have doubled their wealth since COVID. Now, what I say to that is we need to rebalance the economy, and I'm talking about Great British unions for Great British workers.
You're talking about elves going on strike, aren't you? You're talking about Santa's elves going on strike so they can be wealthy. That's what you're talking.
Well, OK, so if we look back at the 70s, I know a lot of people like to point to the 70s and say...
I'm kind of joking a bit, Curtis, here. I don't expect Santa's elves don't go on strike. They're going to get your presents, all right?
We'll see about that. But, OK, some people might think it went too wrong the other way, whatever your beliefs on that. But this time it's gone too wrong the other way, where the richest in society, the corporations, are raking it in, and the working class are being decimated. And people watching at home, as we just discussed, people are struggling to pay. And I don't think it's particularly fair that those at the top are earning so much, and it's not just through hard work. I'm not talking about specific CEOs who've worked for their income. I'm talking about wealth, and what that means is public shareholders. Yeah. That means our public institutions like the NHS, energy companies are being sold off to the highest bidder. Take back control of our public services.
£7 million for shareholders. Like, I don't know how many shareholders that is per person. Like, what is their profit? I mean, we have no way of knowing. I mean, maybe it's some extortionate figure, whatever that means. But I mean, I don't really know that nationalising Hamleys is really the way to go.
Well, I'm not saying that we should nationalise Hamleys, by the way.
But
I know you are.
I do think a big part of it also is that everything is more expensive, partly because we've had such a dysfunctional energy setting for a long time. You know, I think we've diversified away from fossil fuels far too quickly. We're currently importing them from other countries.
This was meant to be, right, a fun chat about elves going on strike, right, because they're underpaid and we're all paying too much. And
I know, but you know, we've gone up.
You mentioned COVID.
We've gone, yeah.
Well, I think we should look at
full marks over here, so I'm just responding to that.
I think we should look at. I mean, I'll disregard that, but I think we should look at community wealth building, for example. That's a really good way. I mean, I want to put up Rachel Reeves actually, because she said a few years ago in the States. Sorry?
Rachel from Accounts.
Rachel from Accounts, yeah. Dodgy CV, should we say. She talks about in the States about how the state can have an active role in growing the economy and boosting wealth for ordinary people. Well, of course, they've missed their growth targets because they've followed the same economic system that we have for the last 40 years. That is deregulation, privatisation, and, yes, weakening of unions. There are a few ways to combat that. I do think Great British unions for Great British workers is one thing, but the Preston model is another one. If you want to keep the economy local and keep wealth into the economy, look at using the state and the private sector, such as the National Investment Bank, is a really good idea, and keep the wealth with the local people, keep local, good quality paying jobs, rather than, again, all that wealth being shipped off to the Cayman Islands, not paying their taxes. And guess what? The politicians do nothing about it, because a lot of them, I say, are lobbied by these same people in government. We don't have a government, regardless if it's Tory or Labour or whoever, that works for us. They work for the billionaire class.
OK. So, any case, the elves aren't going on strike. Santa will be turning up. And thank you both for not mentioning the black hole, because I'm sure if don't go there. I'm sure if Rachel from Accounts was here, the black hole would be mentioned. OK, I just want a huge thank you to my panel, a parliamentary sketch writer at The Telegraph, Madeline Grant, and founder of Turn Left Media.
Thank you very much.
You might have spotted that, Curtis Daly, making his newbie debut on the show.